My name is Clarence Payne, and I have the privilege of telling you the story of a genuine, real American hero. His name was Larry Morford, a sergeant in the United States Army. Larry Morford. Larry came from a very fine family in Carmichael, California. Brothers, sisters. The family was of Mormon faith. They did not believe in war. They did not believe in violence. Yet, Larry Morford, the youngest son in this family, volunteered for the Army, volunteered for the infantry, volunteered for combat, and volunteered for dangerous missions. Larry Morford. He was in Vietnam. His commanding officer was, at that time, Bernard Lufke, who later advanced to Major General in the United States Army. At that time, the commanding officer of the unit in which Larry Morford served. There was an occasion when Commanding Officer Bernard Lufke and men with him were ambushed, and they were pinned down under severe, deadly enemy fire. Some of the other men of their unit saved them, brought them back to safety. Larry Morford was part of that. Larry Morford had a part in saving the life of his commanding officer, Bernard Lufke. The commanding officer, Officer Lufke, entered into conversations with Larry Morford. He wanted to know him better. He knew that he came from a Mormon background. He knew that Larry Morford did not believe in war. And he said, "Then why did you volunteer? Why did you volunteer?" Larry Morford explained, "My friends in my community served in the Army. Friends that I knew in high school, college, served in the Army. I could not stay at home. I felt I must do my part." And then he offered these intriguing words. Larry Morford said to his commanding officer, he said, "Sir, the job you and I are doing is the job of a beast. And the least beastly of us should be doing it." Commanding Officer Bernard Lufke has thought a long time about those words, and so have I. Think about it. Larry Morford said, "Sir, the job you and I are doing is the job of a beast." I can understand what he's saying. The job of a soldier is to kill the enemy, and that's a terrible thing. It is necessary, we know that. It is necessary in time of war. It is necessary in the defense of one's country. Nevertheless, to kill the enemy is, I can understand Larry Morford saying, the job of a beast. But then he added, "And, sir, the least beastly of us should be doing that job." Isn't it true? If it is necessary for a country to have a standing army, if it is necessary to send that army soldiers into war, if it is necessary to kill the enemy, we want the least beastly of our young men to do it. We want those men who are committed to the highest values, the highest principles, the highest standards, who believe in the value of life. It is those young men that we want to call forth to do this terrible job that at times of war must be done. The story continues. It was in Long Khan province in February 12, 1970, that Larry Morford was killed by enemy fire, just a few weeks before he was scheduled to return home at the end of his tour, killed in time of fire in combat. The life and death of Larry Morford had a profound effect on his commanding officer, Bernard Lufke. Officer Lufke knew that Larry Morford, when the war ended and when he had completed his service, that Larry Morford wanted to become a medical missionary. Officer Bernard Lufke advanced to Major General in his service, and when he retired from his military service, he entered into a medical school to prepare himself to provide medical care to those in need. And he made medical missions to the Sudans and other parts of the world to serve people in desperate need as a medical missionary, as a medical servant. So profound was the impact of Larry Morford's life and death on Major General Bernard Lufke. At a later time, indeed in 1996, Major General Bernard Lufke established an award at West Point called the Friendship Fund, and it was in memory of Larry Morford. And the purpose of that fund, the Memorial Fund, the Friendship Fund, in memory of Larry Morford, is to foster good relations between American people and Chinese people. And you will hear more about that in this presentation. It is my pleasure to share with you the story of a genuine hero, Larry Morford, and the impact that he had on the life of Major General Bernard Lufke.